Hi, my name is Murali. I'm going to talk about HANA Cloud Platform Start Edition for Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry is an open platform as a service. It enables developers to build cloud-native applications in any language of their choice. They can also choose from a wide variety of services to meet their application needs. SAP is a founding platinum-level member of the Cloud Foundry Foundation. SAP uses, contributes to, and leads to various Cloud Foundry projects. Currently, Cloud Foundry is available as a beta on YAS, which is Hybris on Cloud. In this video, I'm going to show how quickly you can set up an account on the Cloud Foundry instance and also quickly develop, deploy, and execute applications on top of Cloud Foundry. The screen that you see in front is the standard SAP Help Portal, which talks about different options available in Cloud Foundry services. So under Getting Started, the section on Sign Up covers all the details as to what are the steps that are required to log on to YAS and create a subscription for a Cloud Foundry service. So I'm just going to click on this link, and this should take me to the YAS marketplace. And I can try and subscribe to the service. It asks me to sign into YAS, so for this I'm going to register with a personal account that I have. So accept the terms and click on register. So this should have sent an email. Here it is. I click on confirm. So this should take me to YAS and prompt me to log in. So with this I have signed into YAS. The first thing that I would need to do is create an organization. So an organization is a way to group all your projects. So I click on create organization, and then I can give a name for it. I can give it a random name. And in purpose, I just select non-commercial. So with this I've created an organization. The next step is to go to YAS Market and subscribe to the Cloud Foundry service. So I select the Beta Worldwide option, and somewhere at the bottom there should be Start Edition for Cloud Foundry. I click on subscribe now, and it prompts me with a password. With the name of a project. So just give a name, a random name, CF project 761. I'll keep the same as identifier and click on create. So this screen picks up my organization and then loads the name of the project. I click on continue and then subscribe to it. So what this does in the background is it adds a subscription for the Cloud Foundry service to the project. Then I can click on configure it. So this should take me to the YAS builder menu, and I should be able to see the details of my project. So as you can see in the screen, there's by default a space created called dev. So that's the name that has been suggested. You can choose something else, and then from here I'm going to click on create. So this is actually going to create an instance of Cloud Foundry for my account, and then the trial period is for 30 days. So yeah, I have full 30 days to go and play around with Cloud Foundry. Now if I go back to my inbox, I should have another email, which is to activate the SAP Start Edition for Cloud Foundry services. give a first name, last name, and then a password. Accept the statements and register. So if you look at the SAP help documentation, it just lists all the steps that I have done, and right at the bottom you have the link to the cockpit. So this is the URL that you would need to bookmark to always get into the Cloud Foundry instance. Another thing that you would also need to do is download and install the command line interface. So this is one of the ways in which you can interact with the Cloud Foundry instance. If you want to deploy an application or create a service, you can do it through command line interface. There are a few things that you can do it from using the cockpit, so I'll just show that in a minute. So I'm going to log into the Cloud Foundry instance. So while this is loading, I'll quickly show you how to connect to the Cloud Foundry instance to the command line interface. So you can follow these instructions here to download the command line interface for your Windows or Mac. And then once this is done, you need to log on first by creating a target API endpoint. So just copy this one and go to the command prompt and then issue this command. And then the next one is to actually issue a login. For my email, I need to give my email ID. And my password. So this should connect to my Cloud Foundry instance. It has picked up the organization name, the space name, and associated my user here. Now if I switch back to the cockpit, you can see that it has actually created an organization here, which is the name of the project. And when I go into this particular organization, I can see there's one space called dev that is by default created, so I can use new space to go and add another space and then have my applications managed in each of these spaces. So I'm just going to click on dev, and then you can see on the left hand side these are the menu items that are available. So you can use this particular menu to go and add an application to Cloud Foundry. In terms of members, there's only one member that's currently available, that's me. And if you want, I can add more members into using this option here. So when it comes to services, there are currently 4 services that are available. So you can either use MongoDB, RabbitMQ, Redis, or PostgreSQL. And every time you create an instance of it, that should show up in the service instance. Now you can use some of the options out here in the cockpit UI to actually create some services. So if you want to quickly create a service for MongoDB, I could go into this one and then click on instances from the menu here and then use this option. I can select the plans that's available. There is no application, so I just leave it blank, and then I can give a name of my MongoDB instance. So with this, my instance is ready, up and running. So if I go into server instances, I should be able to see another entry out here. So to some extent, you can do a lot of operations using the cockpit UI, but then there are lots of things that you can do with the command line interface. Say you want to know what are all the runtimes that are supported by this Cloud Foundry instance. So there's a command for that. So you could go and issue CF build packs. So all it does is it lists all the runtimes that are available. So there are about 8 runtimes that are supported currently. So it means I can upload a Node.js program or a Ruby program, and Cloud Foundry would still be able to execute it. There are a lot of community supported build packs also that are available in the market. So if somebody wants to put something for some language which they're more familiar with, they can then import those build packs into Cloud Foundry instance and start using it too. Now if I would like to look at the services that are available in Cloud Foundry, I could go and use this command cf marketplace. So it tells me all the backing services that are available, and I can choose to create a service from among these options. So there are 4 of them. So we saw this in the cockpit. Now if I want to list a particular service, I could go in here and issue services, and this should list me the MongoDB instance which we created earlier. Not here. Now I'm going to demonstrate building an application for which works with RabbitMQ. So RabbitMQ is a messaging server. So you could have a sender application which sends messages to RabbitMQ, and then you could have a receiver program which at any point in time can again query this messaging server and look for a particular exchange or a queue and obtain this message out of it. So it's based on asynchronous communication, and to demonstrate this, I just wanted to leverage on some of the open source that's available in GitHub. So if you go into this particular website for Cloud Foundry samples in GitHub, you will see there's a lot of information that's available for dealing with RabbitMQ for different programming languages. So you have Spring, Rails, and Node.js. So I'm just going to use Node.js because I've used it before and I'm much more familiar. So I have imported the source code and just modified it and created a sender and a receiver application. So that application is downloaded out here. So if you look at the sender RabbitMQ source code, there's only one application which actually contains a JavaScript, which is the app.js. The very interesting file out here that we have to pay attention is the manifest.yml file. So if I open this file, it tells details about the metadata about this application. It gives you details as to what is the name, what is the host. So I've just kept it the same. How much is the memory that it requires? What are the number of instances that need to be created? And finally, it also tells what's the backing service that is to be bind to this. So I could do this as a separate step too, using CF commands, but I've just chosen to add it as part of the YML file. So similarly, I've made the same changes for the sender RabbitMQ program, which is in another folder. Now, before I even start uploading this particular program, I need to make sure that the backing service is ready. So I'm just going to go back to the command line interface, and I'm going to issue a command to create a service. So that is going to be cf create service, and it's going to be RabbitMQ, and then the plan is version 3.6 container. And then we saw that the name of the instance is going to be RabbitMQ sample. So I'm just going to use the same out here. So this should create an instance of RabbitMQ in my Cloud Foundry instance. And if I query it using Cloud Foundry services, it should now reflect that. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to upload this program. So for that, the command is, I need to first log on to that folder. Just go to cd, and the command is cf push. So what this does in the background is it takes all the source code. First, Cloud Foundry will identify, okay, there is an error. It says that the root is already taken. The host is taken, so I'm just going to quickly change the file. Just going to give a name as a sender1, and in the receiver also I probably just give that one. So now I'm going to retry it. So what this does is the Cloud Foundry will automatically recognize this as a Node.js application. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is it would, using the package.json file, it would identify what are all the dependencies that are required. So I as a developer don't really need to worry about dependencies and getting all those things uploaded to Cloud Foundry. So that's all taken care. So if you look at the screen under Build Succeed, you can see these are all the dependencies, and Cloud Foundry is taking care of all of them. So the source code plus these dependencies combined to create something called as a droplet, which is an executable in Cloud Foundry, and then it's created one instance and is up and running. So if I want to see the list of apps that are available, I could use the command cf apps. So the first one was an error one, so the second one is the one that I again pushed, and it's the sender S1 RabbitMQ. Similarly, I could upload the other program which is for the receiver side. So I'm just going to go into that folder and issue a push command. While that happens, I'm going to now quickly go to going to go into the cockpit, and I'm going to refresh the applications. So you can see the sender one is already started. Just to avoid confusion, I'm just going to delete this one, and even the receiver one is also started. So both applications are uploaded. So if I go into the sender application, I can see that there's one instance that's created, it's up and running, and these are the log files. So if I want to increase the number of instances, I could just click on these instances and it should generate another instance. So this is good if you want to scale your applications, but in my case this is just for testing purposes, so I don't need it, so I can just reduce it. And if I go into service binding, I should be able to see the service that I had created earlier, and it's all binded properly. Now from here I'm going to launch this particular application. So all it does is it's going to send these messages to a particular queue and then forget about it. So I'm just going to put some colors here. So say there's red and there is blue, and that's it. So I'm closing the sender application. I'm going to go into the receiver application. It's pretty much the same thing. You have one instance that's running, and I'm going to launch the service, and this should pull the messages which are stored in the particular exchange and then show it on the screen. This is how a very simple example that I've just taken to demonstrate it, and I didn't really do much of coding. There's a lot of code that's available in GitHub that you can use to quickly build some applications and try it out. I hope you enjoyed watching this video.